Good morning, day number 19 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days. And as you can see, first few miles of the trail this morning are incredibly easy. Just past 3 miles in under 70 minutes. I think there's only less than 2 miles of this easy trail left, and then we're gonna start getting some climbing and probably more rough terrain, but hey, I'll take it to get me a little head start on the day. I left camp around 5:25, and I was hoping I could maybe get some breakfast leftovers at the Zealand Falls hut, but this time I think I'm going to be there too early because I'm probably going to be there like 7:15, 7:30, and I think at least at most of the huts breakfast is at 7, so that probably won't be over till like 8. So I could sit around a little bit and wait, and maybe I'll talk to them and see what they think, but I'm sort of inclined to do that almost since I have such a good start to the day, but we'll see. I did, so at some of these campsites in the White Mountains, they have like a caretaker, and it's like a 10 or 15 buck fee. But if you're a thru hiker, you can get a thru hiker pass. So the first campsite is 10 bucks, and then all the other ones is 5 bucks. And it also gets you some free little goodies at the huts. So you have like 3 freebies at the huts of little snacks, and I basically have 3 huts left, I think, south of me that are right on the trail. So definitely gonna get a little freebie at this hut coming up, even if I can't get breakfast leftovers. Up here on Mount Garfield, and I can actually see at least something for the first time in a while, which is cool. Pretty windy up here. Today was a solid day. Did a few miles after I got started, about 5 miles to the Zealand Falls hut, and that trail was super easy. So I got there about 7 or 7:15. I was actually hoping to get there a little bit later so I could get some breakfast leftovers, but they were still in the middle of breakfast and didn't want to sit around much. But I did have my hiker pass now, so I asked for a free baked good, and the guy brought it out, and then I said, "Oh, do you want to mark off my card?" And he said, "No, don't worry about it." So I got that one totally free, which was awesome. And then it was 7 miles to the next hut, which was the Galehead hut, and that hike wasn't too bad. There was some decent elevation, but none of the terrain I don't think was like super difficult or anything. So I made it there by about 11 o'clock, and when I got there, I asked for my free bowl of soup and baked good, which are like 2 of the 3 items I can get on my little hiker pass card, and they brought those out, and I ate that, and then I ate some of my own snacks, and then the cook there asked me if I wanted some leftover lasagna they had from a few nights ago, and I was like, heck yeah. So they brought some of that out, and I ate that, which was awesome, and super grateful for that. So honestly, the 2 huts I visited today were pretty good experiences. They did have some breakfast leftovers at the Galehead hut, but it was just oatmeal, so I didn't eat that at all. But I did end up staying there just over an hour because of all that different stuff going on. So I didn't get out there until a little bit after noon. And at that point, I had 10.5 miles to go. So I knew I could make it in good time. There was Mount Garfield, which was difficult. It was pretty steep up and down. It wasn't super high, so the climbs weren't terribly long, but they were long enough that they took a while and were difficult. And then after that, there was Mount Lafayette. And the initial climb, like most of the way up, wasn't like really bad at all. I didn't really even notice I was going up or that I was going up to Mount Lafayette. But then there's Franconia Ridge, which runs along the top of Mount Lafayette and Lincoln between the two and extends about 2 or 3 miles above the tree line. And once I got above the tree line, there was absolutely no visibility and it was just extremely windy. I have no idea what the actual wind speed was, but I can tell you it was very windy, and at times it was like pushing me to the side, and it was like kind of hard to take steps in the right direction. So the actual once I got above the tree line, the actual terrain and trail and elevation wasn't that bad at all, but it was made a little bit more difficult for sure by the wind. So made it up to the top of Mount Lafayette, and then had some gradual up and downs. And the AT didn't actually go to the top of Mount Lincoln, and honestly, I didn't really see it. So I'm not sure. It was probably just somewhere behind the clouds. Um, so it didn't really go over the top of Mount Lincoln, but sort of went by it. And then after I got out of the tree line, I knew there was just like 2 miles to the campsite, and those miles turned out to be pretty easy. So I got to the Liberty Springs campsite at about 5:20, 5:30, and then they have a rain fly there that's for like a cooking area. So I set up my stuff there and started cooking dinner. And then at about 6 o'clock, it started pouring. So I kind of just chilled out there a little bit longer and waited for the rain to stop. And it ended up stopping around 6:30. So then I got my tent set up and did all the things I have to do in the evening. And then there's a caretaker as well at the site, so I went and talked to him and paid him a few bucks for staying and stuff like that. So overall, a good day, some hard miles, but made it 22.2 miles today, so that's pretty solid in the whites, and have just over 20 tomorrow, 20.4 I think, and it should be fairly difficult as well, I think. But from looking at the map, none of the climbs look incredibly steep, so hopefully they're not too terrible.